Oh, this is much longer. Huh. Okay. Guess it makes sense that they cut it then.
Can you even see a hole from here?
Right? Way it goes, I guess.
There's that little hill there, so you could potentially get a hole more. Oh, fuck! That also counted as...
Yes.
I thought maybe it
Does that count?
No. It is a puzzle.
would. I think go to the start.
Oh no.
Trying to see where the hole is that we're supposed to get in.
Oh.
On that door.
Jeez, and you can...
Shit!
You found the hole for the
Why would they do that? Why would they just make it like a hole that has a switch in it? You know, it's like ball shaped or something. So you get it in there and then then it works.
Death.
But no.
It's a hole. You fell in a hole.
No.
Ah, I take joy in your pain.
No bells or whistles.
Especially if it starts to go...
I really hope the entire episode isn't this though. That would get kind of old.
Go. It's rolling around.
Every time you use your telekinesis, it counts.
It also counts down without you using your telephone.
Oh, awesome.
Now what? It's about to go into that hole.
Wait, yeah, like, how is it at 7?
Now it's at 6.
Now what? It's about to go into that hole.
It's just anytime it touches anything?
No, it
It's
counts
it
down
counts down
naturally.
gradually.
Oh.
But also when you use your telekinesis.
Oh boy, 4 touches.
So I should be able
Are
to
you
punch it
ready?
out and it'll be
Yeah.
fine.
And if it runs out of time, that means the next time you have to do it with telekinesis, because I think telekinesis bops it faster.
Wait, that didn't count that time?
No, it's gonna go into that hole.
Is that the right?
Oh god, that's
not the right hole. Why is it not the right hole?
Because it's the last obstacle hole.
Challenge.
These things respawn, not you.
Also, the
Yeah.
holes will kill you.
Yeah, I don't get that.
One box is going
I mean,
crazy.
yes, I understand it's a Sonic tradition that things, will kill you.
Why don't you pick it up with your telekinesis? Think about that one, Kyle.
I think this was before we met Kyle, actually. Oh hey. Really went moving that time. Why have none of the others done
I
that?
just wish this was
Actually,
Gene's
it's
rocket
looking
bag.
pretty... Oh, Jesus. Thank you. Oh, no.
Yeah.
This
Get
is
the box out of
Reset
there.
unplayable.
Throwing things
This
in the
is
garbage.
The worst
Did someone say this was fun?
thing pushing puzzle.
I don't think when anyone said that they enjoyed Sonic 2006 or Sonic 2006 was fun that they were talking about
Did someone
this
say
part.
they liked the Silver the Hedgehog section? Because
Yeah.
A lot of people said they liked it.
yeah.
Or they said it
Again,
was
they're
like
probably
worthwhile
not talking
or
about this.
something, that it was
There's
innovative.
nothing
I don't know.
worthwhile
This is
about
even
what
more
we are.
unplayable than the other sections of the game.
Bounce that shit super fast. Super hard. Go, bounce. Oh.
Yeah, you have to do it
Yeah, the entire episode
You
is
have
gonna
to
be
make it
this.
As big as zag, which is
Man,
like-
maybe I'll cut in some of the...
Well, you might want to try...
No,
doing
no.
a bank
I have to
shot.
watch this.
Once it
I have to
bounces off that
see
first
how
wall,
they figure it
like, hit
out.
against the wall closer to you.
That's pretty good. That was a good shot. Yeah. Golf
Now
and all
what?
that.
Like, if you banked it this way,
Then it goes in there.
well, you banked it at the wrong angle.
That was
There
too
are
much of
no
a bank.
angles in this game.
There was simply the wrong angle.
The game either wants you to win or it doesn't want you to win.
Red
Oh,
17.
now that's reification. Come on. Wait, reification?
After this, it's time for a challenge.
You know, reification is a more fun way to say it, so I think I'll go with that.
Your challenge is to do this and not be upset, and to like it. Fun fact, you will not win this challenge. Because you can't have fun doing
Do
this.
you need other people to tag out for this part? Or tag in?
Please say yes,
No.
actually, because
Into
that
the
would
hole.
be pretty good. So you don't keep getting frustrated.
That was your last ball, by the way.
Now time
get
just
any
keeps
more.
counting up, and you are in purgatory.
No, wait, now you get one more. Consider yourself lucky.
How do you know? Adjust your angle. Oh god.
Where?
Like, just abort. Do not punch. If you punch from there, it's going in the hole. Move slightly to the right. Okay. Straighten out, sort of slightly to the left. Between the two positions you had. There. No. Oh.
That's
okay.
probably pretty
Go
good.
for it.
Go.
Put some English on it.
Oh, bullshit.
Wait. Freaking.
That was actually pretty okay.
It counted you twice
Bang it
though.
off. Yeah. Oh, that does it.
Man. I'll bet there are games that are entirely this, right?
No, you're too good.
Like
for
physics
the
puzzles are a
Don't go in
thing
there, don't go
in
there, don't go
life.
there. Go above it.
Oh, it's one. Thank goodness.
Fly like an angel!
It's going in the hole.
It's going above the hole! It went in the hole.
No, that's a rather
That
long
was
chasm.
You know to do that.
They foresaw you figuring that out, and so they're like, okay, let's make this hole long, so you can't.
Nope, no
follow the
ramps. Ha. Well, except for the
door.
starting ramp, huh?
Whoop, nope.
Hmm.
That's
angle.
what
Draw
Should have thought of that.
distance.
But just that kind of pop in is just especially glorious.
This is a very special kind of tedium.
Alright. That was a good first roll. Up. Go in the right direction.
This angle would
I mean, it gives you the illusion that it's really your fault
Obviously, this game does not allow
when
you to
something
control the angle.
happens. It's like, oh, well, if you had just done it better, then you'd be out of here by now. That kind
I
of
think
thing.
you're safe.
That's
You are
really
no longer
sneaky.
safe.
Who wants to do this?
I could try.
I'm done.
Don't kill yourself though. Please don't kill yourself. Okay, what button is punch?
Okay, well,
R1. Wait, what do you want?
Like
You're switching off.
punch. That's
Is square.
Oh, man.
wait, what's R1?
Oh.
I would just pick things
Maybe
up.
that means that I should switch off.
how you go to that is
Hmm.
Okay, so we got someone else trying it now. What are you gonna bring to the gameplay?
Okay, adjust. There it goes. I'm going to punch things.
That sounds like
Right,
great
a fresh
strategy for the
perspective.
upcoming
Someone who
season.
is not extremely frustrated. Well,
That was not a good first start.
not yet, anyway.
Okay.
Miserable
21 minutes in.
failure.
It's all been leading up to this, hasn't it?
I will try to adjust the
Operative
camera.
word. Miserable.
Man.
Da, 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 da.
Alright,
That looks promising.
it's good.
But can you patch it in time.
Good first bit. I mean, the first part isn't
Sucks.
difficult.
It sucks!
This game, you know, yeah, but let's try to tread some new territory here.
No, let's.
Oh fuck! No, that wasn't the angle. Oh.
Who puts pits anywhere anyway? Like, I mean, in real life there are sinkholes, and that's about as
Why
close as
are
you
there
get to a
holes
bottomless
in
pit.
this L-shaped corridor?
Damn it!
Just
You
ball
Camera
you said the thing that I said
and
again.
target hole. This is
Adjusting
Ah.
is the biggest pain in the
I
world.
just. I was about to say I should stop talking, but really that defeats the purpose of this whole exercise. So
It's like
I guess I'm
when you
just gonna
play
have to suffer
billiards on
myself.
Wii.
Suffer under the
not
fate
like when you
of
play
saying the
billiards.
same things
No,
that
it
your
really isn't
friend
like
said
that
6
at
years
all.
ago without even realizing that that is the
I
case.
think how long you charge it will affect how
That
far
also
it goes.
affects the bounce.
But that pillar's gonna wreck you.
That is not. Okay.
Because the pillar's jutting out.
I'm
just
aware.
to
I'm
jizz
aware.
all over your
I will
teeth.
jizz all over your teeth.
Jizzing on teeth.
Ugh, guys,
I guess.
why you gotta be gross?
Will fall.
What? Don't you get in trouble with the trolley, Spyro?
Yes, you are playing with the gel. Stop, it's not a penis. What the fuck is that?
It's Pickle
Gel that you
Surprise!
rest your hands on when you're using the computer.
It's
No, no.
Pickle
We take
Surprise!
the gel out of those things.
Pickle
Throw-
surprise!
No, okay, so the gel in that, you take it out, and it stretches, and you can throw it across the room, and hit the wall. And it's like a whip.
Oh man, that would have been loud.
Oh, I know what he's talking about. All right, so there are these
Pickle!
there are these wrist rest things that you put in front of keyboards. And if you take the little gel thing out of them, you get a fun little sticky toy.
Chinese
And
food
it's better than any like
Yes!
toy version of the same thing ever.
has
It's
caused me to jizz.
it's pretty good. They're very dangerous too because you can store a lot of energy in those things.
Am I allowed?
Doing all right here.
Yeah,
Okay.
I want it.
Oh,
No, you motherfucking.
Pickle
Every pickle surprise. That's the surprise.
Please stop doing that.
What? Oh right.
no, I
pickle
think I'm gonna.
surprise.
I am going to cut in some something else, so
Take it
you'll
away
get
as soon
to
as I
listen to
begin.
that.
I'm
I'm still gonna watch
completely
this.
There's plenty
So-
of things that you could blow here, Ilvas.
Yeah,
No.
we'll finish it out. I'll help you
25
find
minutes.
who you're
Yep.
looking for, the silver
Most of
hedgehog
it's
declared
spent on this
to his
puzzle.
pink companion.
I don't think that's
Her
actually
short
true
pink
yet. No,
quills
it's
danced in
fully
the sudden wind as she nodded her head.
Well,
The
It
red
will be
dress
in, like,
she
5
wore
minutes.
swayed lightly in the
Let's go in the
breeze.
hole.
These two
Nope. That was
companions
a
are
great
none other
shot.
than Silver the
that's what we
Hedgehog
call
and
this
Amy Rose.
thing, I don't know.
Both
That
met
was
in Soliana.
Exactly what you
Amy
wanted that
had
to do.
mistaken him for
And
Sonic,
if you can remember
while
that,
Silver had spied what he was looking for.
that
The
is-
female
Yeah,
had
that pillar's
insisted
gonna-
on working
It's going to
together,
bounce it,
while
it's
the
gonna
male
bounce it.
had never
Not
met
that
anyone
terribly.
so pushy.
It's just gonna slow it down.
Now go.
The sun bounced down on the two, making their journey incredibly hot. No clouds provided any relief, water was scarce, and the light wind only thickened the heat. "Come on," she said suddenly. Sonic was here.
Why did they add
I
impression
can
to
sense
this?
it.
Like,
The male let a
wasn't that
small
enough to
chuckle
go
escape
within
his
a
lips
certain number of
as he
times?
watched her dash into the desert, looking for this Sonic. He was looking for the Iblis trigger. She was searching for a person named Sonic.
Oh,
Two of a
no!
kind.
Ball is gone while
Small
you wait.
grains of sand washed their way onto his boots.
No, the base went the other way.
Shaking his feet lightly to get rid of
It's
to
swung
rid
around
them
really
of
quick.
the
It goes
sand,
around you and
Silver
around
suddenly
you,
heard a
that's how you
cry.
Preserved.
Silver! Amy! His mind recognized the voice immediately, scanning
good
the
question.
sand dunes.
the mouth doesn't
Silver's heartbeat accelerated when he didn't see a spot of pink and red. "Where are you?" The sun The hot sun created heat waves across the area, making it even harder to find
Like
anything.
that ball thing where you
The male
walk on
heard
it
the
to
cry
pull
again,
it.
this
That'd be too
more
dirty,
urgent.
wouldn't
Like in
Silver,
Mario Galaxy.
come here.
No,
The male
it's not like
sighed
that.
as he started in the direction of the voice. What am I doing? He questioned himself. Silver needed to find and kill the Iblis trigger as fast as possible, or his world would forever be destroyed.
Galaxy.
Then, if he had to do that, why did he agree to the pink hedgehog's suggestion? The way she had asked for his name when they first met, he had never had someone clutch his hand like that. He could have been a killer, yet she trusted him. He could betray her, yet she still wanted him to come along. Amy was a mystery. The intense heat seemed to make the air heavier and harder, making it difficult to breathe.
It's a mall.
Walking over the last sand dune, he finally spied the pink female.
So turpentine.
She had her back to him and was looking at something beyond Silver's viewpoint. What is it? He questioned, coming up behind her. The female spun around, startled by his sudden appearance, and, loosening her red headband.
Amazing.
Fixing her headband, she turned back to what she was looking at. Look down there. The male leaned forward and squinted his eyes to see through the sand and colored fog. A sudden gust of wind revealed what Amy was looking at. Instead of more ground behind the fog, there was 100 feet drop into a valley. All around the valley were the same rock walls that had formed naturally, fooling all who stepped too far and lost their footing. If the two had continued this way, they would have suffered the same fate as the others. Bones of those who didn't lined the walls. Built inside the valley were huge, crumbling ruins guarding some secret. Whoa, whispered Silver, at lost for words. Sonic went this way, muttered Amy, the wind flicking her bangs into her face. That's impossible, Silver announced, hearing what the female muttered. Nothing on this earth could have survived that drop without the ability to fly. The pink beauty snapped out of her trance and glared at Silver. You don't know Sonic, then. The male suddenly felt a growl rising in his throat, but hid it by turning his back on her. Why did every other sentence she said have to include the word Sonic? What was so great about him anyways? What could Sonic do that he couldn't? Great. He didn't even know this guy and was already hating him. Wait. Why did he hate Sonic? Why was he jealous? Wait a second. Who said he was jealous? He had gotten mad because of Amy mentioning Sonic. Amy's voice interrupted his thoughts. There's no safe way for us to get down there, though, as far as I can see. The male turned to see his companion, who was examining the walls around them. She actually does look pretty cute. No, Silver, get your head in the game. Focus on the mission. Besides, she's from a totally different time. Finishing her survey, the female stood up. I guess we'll just have to find some other way to get down there. Suddenly, she felt Silver grab her hand. What? Dragging Amy near the edge, Silver examined the drop. We'll levitate down. Now the female was really confused. Levitate? But that's impossible. As far as she was concerned, all that junk about levitating and stuff was just a bunch of myths. The male turned to her, still clasping her hand, with a smirk that reminded her of Sonic. Only this smirk wasn't so cocky, more like a sweet grin. Releasing her hand, placed his smooth hand around her waist, clasping him to her. The female felt herself blush as his other arm gripped her shoulder. Amy immediately encircled her arms around his neck, pulling herself close to his chest. Hold on, he whispered. They were now so close that the words brushed against her ear. Before Amy had any time to react, her companion jumped into the air. The female was about to let out a scream, but soon realized that they were falling at a much slower than normal pace. Amy looked to the ground, then to the blue aura surrounding them, then to Silver. The male had that same sweet grin on his face, concentrating on their fall. Amy was baffled at first, and then tried to find a logical explanation to all of this. Finding none, the female gave up and decided to enjoy the ride, snuggling closer to Silver. The male felt heat rise up to his cheeks as Amy laid her head on his white patch of fur. He responded by tightening his grip on her, wishing for a longer fall as the ground came closer. The warmth between the two's embrace sent shivers down both of their spines. Soon, Silver's feet touched the ground, and the blue aura faded. The companions released their grip on one another, each wishing that the fall had lasted longer.
I think I can handle
Flicking a grain of
Sonic the Hedgehog
sand from her
2006.
dress, Amy looked around the
putting
valley.
balls around it,
It wasn't
Tommy,
really
alright?
a valley, more like a deep
I'm gonna tell you a
pit
little something about
with
a game on
large
the Super
walls.
Nintendo called Top Gear 3000.
The had landed right outside the ruins. So, you have special powers? She questioned, turning to Silver. The male nodded, sort of. He didn't really want to say any more. Back in the future, his powers had made him an outcast. He stared at the floor as he remembered those times. I think that they are cool, Amy suddenly said, rocking back on her heels. The silver hedgehog's head shot up. You do? The female nodded. I mean, we just levitated. Nobody else I know can do that, and that's really cool that you can. Silver nervously rubbed the back of his neck. Thanks. An eerie silence befell the two.
I thought it was worth a try.
Look,
It was
Amy
definitely
shouted,
worth a try.
breaking the silence and pointing to the ruins entrance. The male looked to where she indicated. Standing at two sides of the entrance were two heavily armed robots. Amy shook her head. Sonic must have come this way. Otherwise, Eggman wouldn't have a reason to guard the entry.
Use this to my advantage.
The male nodded his head. He had no idea who this Eggman was, but he decided that his questions would not be answered now that Amy knew Sonic had come this way.
It's true.
There must be a secret entrance underneath it or something. So, how do we get in? Leave it to me, the Pink Beauty declared. I'll distract them so you can sneak in. I'll met up with ya halfway in. You sure you can handle those guys? The male asked, looking at the robots again. Amy nodded. They can't hit what they can't see. Now you go wait behind that fallen pillar. I'll give the signal when you should go. Crouching behind the pillar, Silver peeked out from behind to see Amy. The pink hedgehog was not there. Suddenly, the male heard a crash of something metal. Looking out, he spied a flash of bright pink light near the guards. That's the signal, he thought, slipping into the ruins. Halfway in the ruins, 1 hour later, the male hedgehog collapsed near the checkpoint. These ruins may look small, but they were huge on the inside. Eggman had sure gone out of his way to set up all these traps. I mean, come on. Seas of sand with timers that told you how long you had till you drowned in sand. That was too much. Sighing, Silver looked around for Amy. He didn't spy any red and pink female. His heart started to gather speed. What if Amy hadn't made it through? What if she had gotten caught in one of the traps? What if right now she was screaming for help with all of her life? The hedgehog sprang up and was about to go back and check all of the traps when he heard a female voice call his name. He squinted his through the darkness of the halls, trying to make out anything. Just then, a red and pink dot appeared. Silver let out a sigh of relief as he saw that she was safe. Silver, she called again, rushing forward and screeching to a halt in front of him. Regaining her breath, she let a cheerful smile cross her lips. Are you okay? I was worried about you when I saw all of those traps. You're hurt. Huh? Silver followed her gaze down to a deep gash in his arm. Oh, he had spent so much time fighting Iblis that pain by now didn't seem to affect him. It's just a scratch. Just a scratch, Amy echoed, tearing a piece of her dress off and ushering for him to sit down. Here. Plopping down next to him, the pink hedgehog gingerly took his arm and began to wrap it in the cloth. The warmth of her touch sent lightning up Silver's body. This is all my fault. What? Siler questioned. How can you say that? It's not your fault. I was careless. Yeah, but if I hadn't made you help me look for Sonic, you wouldn't have to come here in the first place, or get hurt. Amy finished her work by tying the two ends in a small ribbon. The male gave a small chuckle. I came here on my own will. Besides, it was fun traveling with you. The pink beauty felt a blush creep onto her face. Really, her jade green eyes seemed to sparkle as Silver gazed at her. Sure, and we're not done yet. Standing up, the male offered his hand to help Amy up, which she gladly took. We still have to get out of this sand trap. Come on. Still not releasing hands, the two traveled deeper into the ruins. Near the end of the ruins, 30 minutes later. Whew! That last trap was one of the most difficult ones, sighed Amy, leaning on her hammer. Yeah, I mean, who creates balls that you have to levitate to the door while avoiding the others to smash the door open? Silver agreed, shaking his head. Look, the pink beauty alleged, pointing down the hallway. A light! That must be the exit. The male looked to where she was pointing. Sure enough, a white light streamed its way through a passageway. We've reached the end. The female bounded forward ecstatic. Come on, Silver. We have to find Sonic. The silver male chuckled at her peppiness, but was unable to share in her happiness. Reaching the end would mean that we would find Sonic, and that meant that Amy would leave him. Truly told, along their journey, Silver had unearthed some emotions for the pink female. She could be pushy, clingy, annoying, and she had a huge hammer. But Silver loved her. Loving her meant that he accepted her flaws and strengths. The male couldn't help but wonder if Sonic felt the same way. Following Amy, Silver kept his head down, but put on a cheerful smile whenever she looked back on to check on him. All of a sudden, the ruins started to shake. The shaking gradually grew until it was a huge earthquake. Chunks of rubble crashed to the ground, cracking the well-preserved floors. Amy, Silver shouted above the noise, worried for his loved one's safety. Here, came a soft yell. Dashing past the crumbling walls, not thinking about his own safety, the male found his companion clutching the ground in fear, her eyes closed. Kneeling down beside her, Silver gently placed his hand upon her shoulder. Amy immediately recognized who it was and threw her arms around his neck, crying in fear. Silver, what's going on? The male wrapped his hand around her waist, shushing her. I don't know. Looks like a sudden earthquake. The pink beauty buried her tear-stained face into his chest, tightening her grip on his neck. The silver male clutched her waist to him. Soon the roof would collapse on them, crushing them. Without warning, huge chunks of the roof fell to the ground. Acting fast, Silver used his free hand to form a psychic shield above them. The rocks hit the shield multiple times, battering Silver a great deal. The female raised her face to watch the rocks fall, but only hit the shield. His face showed that he couldn't keep this up much longer. It took a lot of energy to create and hold up a shield. Yet, she never wanted Silver to get hurt protecting her.
So maybe stop
She had dragged Silver into this mess, got him hurt, and yet here he was, putting his life on the line for hers. The only question was, why?
Okay, store.
Just as sudden as it came on, the quake stopped. The last few rocks fell and hit the ground. The male put down his shield, still clutching Amy to him.
This looks like a very
The two observed the damage done. The walls were almost completely gone, as was the ceiling. 3/4 of the ground was covered in fallen rocks, cracking it completely. Silver, Amy suddenly asked, looking from the damage to the gray hedgehog holding her. She unwrapped her delicate hands from his neck and placed them on his chest, making him slightly jump at the contact. "Why did you save